Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Gee, before we get into LVO, is there anything else that you think, you want to talk about?
Halo's coming to PlayStation.
Cool.
That's interesting. It's getting completely redone with 3 new levels.
Yeah, Halo 1, right?
Yeah, which is wild. I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Yeah, I've already played Halo 1. I don't think I'm going to buy it.
No, yeah, I get it. Like, the 3 new levels is the only selling point. Like, really?
And you're like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
I guess
but
nostalgia.
Not enough to buy a PlayStation, though.
Yeah, it's coming out for Xbox too, right? But I don't even have the newest Xbox, dude.
Well, here's the thing. I think Xbox they're kind of leaving the market because they make more money. They're not probably leaving 100%, but they make more money in services, right? Digital services.
Yeah, I heard they're possible the next. Well, I mean, I think I've seen rumors of what the next Xbox is going to be capable of, but I do think that they're focusing more on home entertainment stuff rather than just games. But games is still going to be from the leaks of what I've seen in the new Xbox, and that's why I haven't bought the last 2 Xboxes, because I'm like, one of these days when I decide to play console again, maybe when my son starts playing,
that'd be pretty much it, and because I can't think of a reason to really get a console these days, personally.
Yeah, I just pretty much use my phone for video games these days.
Same.
I will play console when my son starts to play video games. I will teach him the ways.
Right.
But he's still just 4.5, so
that ain't happening.
We got a couple of years. Couple of years, Yeah, so we're going to talk about some LVO, kind of the build up and lead up to it, kind of all the stuff that we had to do to prepare for such a large event for the second time this year, right? How many people did we have?
In total, or just this one?
Just this one, it looks like we had 116 total players. And for the last one, we had 169. So we were just about 50 players, I think, short, this year for the second one. Right. But if you put those two together, that's like 280 players.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And, I wonder if October in the future will be the better date for more people. Because, I know Halloween is like a celebrated holiday and stuff, but it's not like Christmas or Thanksgiving where everyone's like families coming out,
Mm-hmm.
So you might be able to be like, I can take a little more time in October,
Yeah, very possible. Very possible. The next LVO date has been, put out there. It's going to be October 1st next year, starting. That'll be the first day where we're going to do doubles and pods, and then we'll do our typical 9-round Swiss and our narrative campaign too, which is going to be called Vitalis Falls, which is going to be very cool. Or the fall of Vitalis. That's the one. But yeah, man, dude, when did we found out that this was going to happen sometime in March, which was like 2 months after LVO. We were still like recovering from that LVO, like 169 players and all of that stuff from LVO. And then like this one got spawned on us. So I was like, oh, we have to do it again. Which is good. It's good for business, but it's definitely difficult,
It's very difficult. Because you think even with that time in between, but then there's every other event we do, such as All Valley Team Tournament, Midsummer Mayhem, the Boys Bash, like all that other stuff that's just in between that you still have to prep for too.
We also had to change our entire, from learning when the new LVO is going to come out. We weren't allowed to talk about it, but we had to change every single I think we found out like late February, and we had to change every single event for the year because it was like, well, we can't have the All Valley Team Tournament be a week from LVO. We can't have it late September. You know what I mean? So it changed everything. And yeah, that was it was exciting. Totally worth. But it was kind of like we did 2 years of the same kind of like event structure, and then it just got all in the air. And now this year it's not necessarily in the air. We kind of have like a great idea of what we're going to be doing and when we're going to be doing them, but
right, and what to expect. And I think the new venue allows for a different experience than before because now everyone's in the same hall, I guess, the same room, kind of like with SoCal Open was. If anyone's been to SoCal, it's just like a giant hangar. And this is sort of the same thing for the event area, the expo.
But it has AC.
It has AC, which I love because it does get warm, especially for our stream players because they got a bunch of lights beating on them, but they didn't look too sweaty outside of when they were playing hardcore games. Different story.
Yeah, but that's sweat just in general.
Ooh. Excuse me. I ate some chili before this.
Fair.
Yeah, spicy.
Yeah, and the other cool thing about the new venue is right across the street is like a mall. So you don't have to eat at the venue. The venue can be expensive just because it's Vegas, but you can leave the venue, walk across the street in that hour, pick something to eat, and then walk back. I don't think they were stopping people from bringing food in, but I don't remember if they are. I think one of the biggest problems that we had was that they did not tell people that they have to have the wristband. And if you don't have the wristband, you're not allowed in. So on Friday, people forgot the wristbands in their hotel and they almost missed round one because they had to go back to their hotel and then come back. Luckily, their shuttle system was really good. There's a lot of people using the shuttles, going back and forth. Personally, I never used the shuttle. I just walked, and it was like, I don't know, 0.8 mile walk. And I like walking these days. So I just left the hotel like 7:40 and would get into the into the hotel by 8:00. And it was pretty simple, pretty easy. Giacomo, you took a car most days, right?
I took a car the one day with Saya and Katie, and that's because we were lugging a bunch of stuff. But most of the other days, like if you're not carrying anything, that walk is a breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wear some nice shoes. It's like piece of cake. In fact, I was seeing players doing it too. Like in the morning when I would come in with like Robert or something, we'd see people walking and they just had all their stuff, and it didn't look that bad. If you're not in the sunlight, I think it's fine, right? Just stay in the shade because even at that time, Vegas is still a little warm.
Yeah, but like if you walk early enough, like if you're walking around like 8 a.m., it's not warm in Vegas.
It's not. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, if you start walking like 8:30, then you're like, oh, okay.
Right. Well, the sun has come up and it's now hitting you. But yeah, if you can avoid that, just go in the shade, which there's plenty of shade spots, and you even found a little crosscut place that you could cut through. Like all that is shaded. Like that's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
So highly recommend it.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I think Frontline Gaming, it was definitely like a learning year. They did a great job on a lot of things. But it was definitely like there was definitely trial by error on some things. You know what I mean? Like they were struggling with some tables because of some table stuff, and but everything got set up, and it was definitely, it kind of hurt us a little bit because we didn't have tablecloths on the first day, so we couldn't actually set up everything. So we ordered a bunch of tablecloths, put them on, and then we're able to do it. That won't be an issue next year. Next year we will have tablecloths 100%. So, so that'll be good. The problem is, if we hit 250 players, Giacomo, that's going to be a lot to unload, and that's going to be a lot of tables to set up, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot. So we'll have to, play it by ear. That's the goal that we're trying to reach. But, leading up to LVO, there was like a lot of narrative. We were talking about the narrative, thinking about the narrative. I think all of May, I pretty much sat down and just worked on nothing but the narrative, like learning the system, making cards with Alex Squires, getting feedback from Giacomo, thinking about stuff, how we're going to make this one work. And it took like 30 days. It was just like 30 days of work. I also sat there and made all the maps. A lot of the maps we did not use because some of them were less play. Like I had a 3-story Into the Dark board.
Dude, that was a crazy one.
Yeah, I called it Luke Skywalker bridges. We did not use that one because it was too much. It was too much. As cool as it would have been too much. So like I ended up changing a few others at the last minute. And we pretty much manufactured all the terrain in May. There's a little bit we had to do at the end, to like make sure that we hit the right numbers of every single wall piece and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and then we kind of had the All Valley to think about for the next 2 weeks. So we ran the All Valley team tournament, which was a major success. It always is. And yeah, that was a huge success. And then in July, I had some other events to attend and work on. And then we did Midsummer Mayhem. So we didn't really get to do any of LVO. We did a little bit in July, but not tons. But then after Midsummer, it was pretty much nothing but work for me for like 2 months. Yeah. Manufacturing. I didn't have to manufacture a lot of terrain, but we had to paint 150 Tyranids, right? 150, which was crazy. We had a bunch of, and then we had 11 sets of Volcus to paint as well.
It was a lot, which, we had a lot of help, which is great.
Yeah. So, and then after that, I probably took about a month making all the maps, right? I'm glad I didn't do them before Approved Ops came out, so that was...
It was the last minute scramble to build them all.
Oh my gosh. So then we incorporated all of those in Tomb World, and I created something called Into the Dark Plus. And then this was the first event that a lot of those maps were debuted, right? And most of them got really good feedback. We didn't get a lot of bad feedback about a lot of the maps. So things seemed to go great. And dude, the reason why I only do map making typically once a year is because it takes up like 2 weeks of my life, right? And that's like 2 weeks of me making stuff, 2 weeks of me being with my family, like there's a lot that goes into it, like a lot, right? It's just sitting down and just doing digital files after the next. Luckily, I kind of made everything the size of tarot cards. So if people want to print them off, they can print them tarot card size. And essentially, I basically made like 3 map packs. We have what is it? Volcus Light, Volcus, and in the new Gallowdark map pack, which is essentially like Gallowdark / Tomb World, right? You can find those on squadgames.net or on our Discord, right? But creating a bunch of maps and making sure that they're good is really important to me. It's really important to me to make sure that Games Workshop is not the only person out there, the only team creating good maps for players to play on, right? So otherwise, I think Kill Team would get boring faster.
I mean, and that's the beauty of having someone like you who's into the game and gets to see it and understands what has to be changed. Like that's really important. So I'm glad that big tournaments like these get to experience that as opposed to what is just one set and never really changes.
Yeah. We also had to create the map pack for this LVO and kind of update a bunch of stuff. We created the Squad Games tournament circuit. For anyone that's wondering what that is that you can join the Squad Games tournament circuit, which is essentially it's a way to run events. It's a standardized process, a standardized thought process of being able to run events. So if people come to your events that are considered Squad Games tournament circuits, people should know what they're in for, rather than just having a random maps or random terrain on the board. If you are verified by us, then people should know what they're kind of signing up for, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of important because they know what the minimum price support is that they're going to get. They know the minimum of this, they know that there's like a minimum standard of things that they have to do. And you can find out more about that on our website as well. You can also get, if you're an SGTC TO, right? You can get price support from us. You can also, we also have exciting things to talk about in the near future with Frontline Gaming, possible discounts from our store for price support and other things. So it's going to be a lot of cool stuff that we're still currently working on. But I kind of, before we like dive into the actual event of LVO, I'm still recovering from LVO. I thought I was going to get a break. I didn't do anything for like 4 or 5 days. And then I had to start working again.
Like immediately.
Yeah. So like, I was like, yo, I want to take a good like 2 weeks off of just like not thinking about Kill Team. And nope, couldn't do it. Quite busy doing stuff. So planning for Worlds, preparing for Worlds, reading rules, getting back to people, business doesn't stop. So neither do we. Yeah. Vacation doesn't exist at the moment.
Yeah, what is a vacation?
What is the vacation? Maybe after Worlds. We can dream, right?
It's holiday season, so I guess we can a little bit of a break. A little bit.
Yeah. Like I just want to play like D&D right now. I just want to, I want to chill out a little bit.
That's why you have your
I do want to, but I also want to actually just play Kill Team. Like I haven't played since you and me went to the Valentine's Day tournament in Vegas last year, which was a ton of fun, and I highly suggest anyone else go.
Oh, yeah.
But I haven't been able to play in a competitive event. And Giacomo, I'm a competitive guy.
You are a competitive guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I take out all of my competitive frustration on League of Legends on the phone, which is called Wild Rift, and I think I just hit Master again this past season, so that was cool.
Wow.
I'll probably try to get to Grandmaster this season. Yeah, dude, I'm super good right now. I think I could hit Challenger on the phone. If I just actually put the time into it, which is hard because I'm working a lot.
Wait, so Challenger is higher than Master?
Yeah, so it goes Bronze or it goes Iron, which is like people who are like really bad at the game, like just dysfunctionally, like they might be playing without thumbs, it's possible. And then you have Bronze, then you have Silver, then it goes Gold, then it goes, I think, Platinum, then it goes to Emerald, then it goes to Diamond, and then it goes to Master, Grandmaster, Challenger, and then there's like one other one after Challenger, and that's like professional phone players. So yeah, I'm pretty decent at it.
I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had like a 64% win rate and I was in Masters, so it was cool. But yeah, man, just fucking that's where I've had to put my competitive grind in, lately. That and painting. I am doing a little bit of painting, I'm trying to also paint the my striking scorpions a little bit, prepare them for some event at some point in time, and they're blue.
They are. I actually really like the color scheme that you chose.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I can't paint Ultramarines because Ultramarines got nuked into the dirt, so I'm gonna paint. Striking scorpions. Yeah.
They got a little bit of love now in the new thing, but it's not enough.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough. I mean, why play them when you could just play Deathwatch, right?
Right. Yeah. It's nice for new players.
Mm-hmm. So, there was like 2 or 3 weeks of me just like, we had to like order dice. So for anyone who did not go to LVO, we ordered like 2 brand new huge banners, which was a huge financial cost. If anyone knows how much those dang things are. We had to like luckily, a lot of people at LVO decided to help us and support us. So they bought a lot of product, which is really cool. If you guys are interested in any product by us, which will help us, go ahead and check out squadgames.net. We're really on top of all of our orders these days. We have a lot of product in stock ready to be shipped. So nothing is being made to order. So go ahead, do that. We have awesome, amazing paintbrushes too. The Highlander Hobbies brushes out here, which are great. But yeah, we invested a lot in LVO this year. So we got like 2,000 brand new dice, which are the engage and conceal ones. We had brand new banners, a bunch of props for the narrative. We had to manufacture 18 Into the Dark sets, brand new Into the Dark mats, which matched our narrative, which is the Repentant Station. All the Tyranids were running around. Giacomo, what did you think about those Tyranids bases and how they like really matched the mats that we had?
Honestly, you nailed it. Like when you described it to me at first, I was like, well, you usually describe stuff and I'm like, I don't actually know what it is because I can't see it. And then when I see it, I'm like, oh, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, Giacomo is not an audio learner. So anyway, everyone knows he's very much a visual learner.
I need to see it.
Like I'll sit there and I'll just like be telling Giacomo something and I'll be like, you didn't understand anything, did you? And he's like, nah. And I'm like, all right, thanks for listening.
You're welcome. I tried. I just couldn't comprehend,
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot. We did like 6 community painting nights, painting days where we had people from all over the community. Let's see if I can pull up their names here. They all came over and helped paint all of the Volcus, right? They helped paint all the Volcus. They helped paint all the Tyranids. I'm not going to lie, dude. When everyone left the last time they came over, bro, I sat down for, I think it was 10, 14-hour days in a row finishing the Tyranids. Because when people came over, I was able to airbrush all their skin, get all the little like fleshy details with an airbrush. Then everyone just kind of sat there and just did the black carapace and the claws and talons on all like 150 Tyranids. And then I had to go through and I had to like oil wash all of them, take off the oil wash, put a little bit of tad bit more detail, and then do all the bases. And the bases were crazy because the bases for the Tyranids, all of the GW bases for some reason had this divot in the middle, right? I don't know. I think we got a lot of our models from the Leviathan boxes, and the Leviathan boxes were just had this divot in the middle. Typically that's not a problem. Well, for me it was, because I wanted to sand the base, spray it gray, and then put on like different like transfers to make it look like they were in the space station. And I did a bunch of scoring, like Gundam scoring and stuff, and on the bases. And this like, well, there's a giant hole in the middle of each one. So I had to, and then I was like, yo, I don't have time to go to like any of these places and get, what is that called? The zip kicker for.
Oh, yeah. The accelerator for like super glues.
Yeah. So I had to do some old school stuff. So I'd use Loctite and I'd put the super glue in the divot, and then I'd just like sprinkle baking soda on it. And then once that was done, then I had to sand every single base with 220 grit and then 300 or 400 grit to get them flat. And then I had to spray them all. Then I had to score them all. And I had to put the transfers on. Then I had to rim them all. It was great. And then I had to glue all the Tyranids to them. And then go through and really make those boss monsters really stand out. So that was like 140 hours worth of stuff. It was kind of nutty. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And then there was all the terrain for those, like just to like count every single wall, every single pillar. Cause for those of you that don't know, we custom manufactured every single piece of terrain. Me and Giacomo pretty much built every single piece of terrain for the narrative.
It was a lot. I'm not kidding. Like a lot.
It was a lot.
My skin, and I'm sure some other people's skin, is attached to those boards somewhere.
Yes. So some of our community painters were Giacomo, right? We had David Stevens, Alex Popov. We had Alex Mack. He was a legend. He came almost every day. Same with David. Matt Alasana, he came through and he was able to build some of those Tyranids. Like I was like, yo, can you build these Turvagons and these Gene Stealers? And I just give him more Tyranids and he would just build them for us. Val came over and she did a bunch of our Volcus terrain. We had Dylan Reed. Dylan came over and it was a legend, painted a bunch of stuff. Kristen Larson came over and painted a day or two.
Yo, Tim Chris.
Yeah, we had Julius came over, and just like people from the local community just coming through and really making sure that I didn't have to put another 10 days into this project, which is very nice. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, And then also we had a bunch of people play test. Like we had Alex Squires who helped make all the narrative, right? We had Andrew Ramos help play test. We had Mike Cortez look at the rules and give everything a look over and stuff like that. Saya literally wrote the whole narrative, kind of crazy, man. Like the team to bring that together was so big, and I'm excited that we get to run it again. Because, dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If I had to run this once a year, I don't think I'd ever run another narrative, like ever.
Yeah, dude, it's so much work, and I'm really glad we have people who are like, yeah, we'll take care of it,
Yeah, and now we get to run a second narrative in January and February, right? Which is going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to run the same exact one it's 36 people maximum. If you guys are looking to come to California and play in a great narrative event, that'll be you'll be able to do that. When I find a little extra bandwidth, I will put up the dice and I will put up the narrative and the narrative card packs on our website. Just give me a little bit more time to kind of relax. It might be after Worlds, Worlds is coming up real soon. There's a lot on my mind about that because I'm doing a lot for the event, right? We're streaming the event. I'm going to be a judge. There's a lot of stuff, let's see here. Back to LVO. So the narrative was a huge success. Everyone loved it. Everyone had a great time. We made these custom narrative equipment cards and packs that people could buy or purchase with their narrative directive tokens from the event, like doing specific things would score them points, and then they could do that and either score for their team or buy stuff. So it was fun to see like selfish players always bringing their team down, but then like continually winning and not getting infected by the Tyranids. It was great. It was a great time. Great time. So Giacomo, I remember we had a conversation. I was like, hey, Giacomo, how long do you think it's going to take to set up the stream? Because we have a lot of terrain to set up. And you're like, 2 or 3 hours. I was like, easy, bet. We could totally get all this stuff set up. The stream took a lot longer than we thought.
It was like almost 3.5, maybe pushing 4, like in the parts where it was slow in between. And that was just because of like one of the big issues we had. And this is not necessarily a venue issue. This is more of a timing issue and table issue. So this is on people they were hiring at the time, was finding out where we were going to ultimately be because of the table situation, since things were still coming in, so that we knew where to set up the shop. And in turn, I was going to be near the shop because that's where a lot of power was going to be running.
Yep.
So that slowed us down a bit.
It's interesting running things, guys, behind the scenes, like running events. There's so much more, like the amount of stuff that you have to put away after the event, It's insane. Go ahead, Dre.
No, yeah, I would say that's why it probably took longer, right? Like there was those delays. But once I started like physically setting up, it wasn't so bad. But then it got to a point where everything was really slow because then I had to like organize cables and things like that, and that takes a little more time to make them look nice as they can be. With the things that we have, that's when it gets slower. And then testing the computer and being like, all right, is it running? Is this camera running? Is this connection working? What do I have to reset? And then I had Marty come over and help me do a lot of the hotkeys again. We were redesigning them to make them more efficient, which also slows down time. Like we're doing everything we can in the limited time.
What's amazing is that the stream has destroyed itself. It is gone. So
It's getting reinvented. That's what's about to happen.
My God.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I don't know how to explain it to everyone here. Like today, so I had to buy a new computer for Worlds, right? Which was really expensive and not something that I really wanted to do, but you know, here's life. It is what it is. And the reason why is that we have a really big and heavy streaming rig. Okay. Flying with a really big and heavy computer is not good. Right. I think I can tell everyone this. I don't think I've talked about building the PC because I've also been building, like I built a PC from scratch also since getting back from LVO, right? In this past 20 days. Learning again what does a computer take in 2025 compared to when I built one in 2022 or, you know, like crazy. But like our really big computer is like 50 to 60 pounds, right? And you put it in a giant Pelican case. And now instead of just like a $50 carry-on fee, now it's an overweight, oversized bag, which costs an additional $250 to get there. And then it's an additional $250 to get back. And if we intend on doing more streams at the World Championships of Warhammer in the future, right? That's unsustainable to be able to fork out $500 each way for a computer, right? So I built a small form factor PC that fits on a carry-on. And, you know, there is something I did. I built this beautiful little machine, right? Beautiful, Giacomo. Let me tell you, man, it was gorgeous, right? Put all these great components in it and all that kind of stuff. And I built it with a water cooler. Now, let me tell you, everyone, real quick. Water coolers are amazing and they're great. The problem is I was going to take this as a carry-on. Has anyone started shaking their head yet? Okay, well, I'll tell you why you should be shaking your head if you haven't. You cannot take more than 3 ounces of water as a carry-on, period. So I had to find a air cooler for my PC. So I bought one. It was like one of the biggest, best on the market, and the small form factor was supposed to be able to fit. Well, it turns out my RAM was too tall. So I had to return that. And I had to get a different one, a smaller one, a much cheaper one. Still works. Yeah, very, very fascinating. And then, so I essentially had to build this PC 4 times and disassemble it 3 times. Pain in my butt. Let me tell you what. Pain in the butt. And then, yeah, and I'm not even done. Then I have to transfer all of the files, all of my work files, my SVGs for the laser cutting and all this kind of stuff to the new computer, because I'm going to be taking this old computer and giving it to my wife so she can play Baldur's Gate without dog shit graphics.
Yay.
You know? Yay. And because she was like, I don't want to play Baldur's Gate anymore because I can't see boobs. And I'm like, oh, that's a weird. Okay.
Everybody likes boobs.
I know, dude. I trust me. I played Baldur's Gate on this and I was like, yeah. You know, Carlock is my girl. Let me tell you what. You know, she's my girl. Giacomo, do you have a Baldur's Gate girlfriend?
No, not really. Like, I mean, I know most people like Shadowheart.
You have a Baldur's Gate boyfriend?
No, I was I played as a halfling, and we were part of a kink band of a group.
So you just try to have sex with each other? Is that what's going on? We
played into that heavily. That was our thing. I won't name the people who are in my party. You might know them in real life. So
I will reserve judgment.
The audience might also know them in real life. They've been on this show.
Got it.
And we were like, we're going to go ahead and that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our theme. And so we did. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Never finished that campaign though, you know. But we were very close to the end of chapter 1, and then we're like, okay. They finished the game. I was like, I don't have as much time. I can't dedicate this many hours.
That's fair. That's fair.
Unfortunately, I do love the game though. If you get a chance, everyone should play Baldur's Gate 3. It's a really fun game.
It is. Yeah. So built this computer, and then today I've been transferring all of my streaming files, and for some reason, the LVO stream is blank. So that means that our old backup file from Crit Ops 2024, pre the last LVO, is the most recent backup file that I have, meaning that I have to completely and utterly remake the entire stream. I was already planning on updating it and making it all nice and pretty, hopefully for Worlds. I was going to do it for LVO, but I ran out of time. When you make a lot of stuff to try and sell, like, and then you also have to make maps, like you just run out. Like, I only have so much time in a day. My heart health isn't great, so the doctor's telling me that I have to sleep more, can't eat as many trans fats, so sometimes I want to stay up longer, and I do, and then my wife yells at me. So,
it's better for your health. Otherwise, we can't do this.
That's why I'm trying to walk every day.
There you go. It's important.
Trying to do those squad gains, everyone.
That's a message to everybody listening to, and all people who play tabletop. Consider being more active. It doesn't matter what our hobby is very sedentary. It's good for our health, and we want to continue to be healthy to keep playing more and more of Warhammer.
Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to get off the energy drinks and doing all that kind of stuff. And it's funny, I was drinking the Yerba Mate energy teas recently, and now my wife is like, "Oh, those just came out as that those are also going to give you cancer." I was like, "Isn't it going to be funny that I was drinking Monsters and the thing that gives me cancer is Yerba Mate energy teas?"
Yep. Like
the supposed healthy alternative.
I mean, technically, you could drink enough water and die too, right?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I had to build this whole PC. It's kind of crazy. Ups and downs, and now I have to redo the whole stream, which is just what we have. How many days until I have to leave for Worlds, and we still have to pack and stuff too.
A little bit more than a week.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I leave in like 7.5 days. It's going to be fun. So, back to LVO. Competitively, we saw a lot of players, We had a lot of people on stream. Did you have a favorite pairing of people that played on stream?
Yes, it was Zeke versus John Reese.
Really?
It was the best game because it was constantly tight. There was never a moment where it slowed down. I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen it or haven't looked into the what happened, the results. It is such a fun one to watch just because every moment you're thinking, are they going to do this? Then they do something completely different. And it plays so well. And it is the time I have seen, here's the joke. Mr. John Reese is a shiny man. He, was as bright as the sun. It was so sweaty for all parties involved. Like it was it was so tight. I felt like I was going to sweat like a waterfall just coming out of my armpits. Like it was every moment, every move and decision was, you had to be either insanely cagey or take this insane risk to win it. And that's what you had to do watching the game. It was my favorite game.
Yeah, it was definitely the most tense that I've seen, like both of the competitors. Is by far, it seemed to be the closest as well. Cause I stayed and I watched that game quite a bit. The final games, I was kind of hovering around the top tables for most of the event. Yeah.
Highly recommend you guys watch that. You can.
I heard
eventually
a lot of people. I heard a lot of people's favorite game was Game 6, and it was the narrative game when Jonathan Marcus and Jeffrey Lim jumped on stream and we played, I think, map 8 of the narrative.
Yeah, that one was a trip. It was such a unique experience. I don't think anyone's ever really seen that. Like we had people going, "What's this?"
Yeah, we had a Carnifex on stream, and then people were paying what was it, Chaos? They brought Chaos in.
We got some Legionaries,
Yeah, crazy. It's a crazy time. So if you guys want to go back and watch the live VODs, on YouTube, you can. We will probably also cut those up and post those as well. That's just another thing that I have to find time for, right? Quite busy these days, to say the least. Yeah, so that was exciting. I want to give a shout out to all of our staff. We had a lot of volunteers this year, which really, really made the biggest difference, right? Obviously we had Saya and G, right? They're always there. We had Saya's sister, Katie, right? She helped with the store quite a lot and did small errands for us here and there. And then we had Justin and Christina, the MVPs, I would say, of the entire event. Not only were they able to like functionally run the store for us, but they were also able to bring us food, and they helped us pack, which is a huge help, right? They helped us pack, they helped us unload and set up. The next MVP is going to be Steven and Mike. Steven, it was great. So for people that don't know, October 1st is my anniversary, right? And next year we start Thursday on my anniversary. My wife isn't very happy about it. But this time it was on a Wednesday, and Steven, his girlfriend or wife, made us the most delicious homemade dinner.
So good.
And it was so good. It was so damn good.
I broke my carb tradition for that meal. Oh my God, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. And they brought enough food for all of us. So after we set up, we were working there with we left at like 6 or 7 a.m. Got there like at 12 or 1, packed, and then he came through at like 7 or 8, and it was just a super delicious meal. Absolutely glorious. And also Stephen was a great judge. He did a great job. And we couldn't have done it without you, Stephen. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, so he was also like super professional, so he did a great job. And damn, that food was delicious. That's
the
one
salad,
way.
Dude, the arugula salad, wow.
Yeah, so it was arugula and cranberry salad, and then there was, what was the pasta?
It was carbonara.
Yeah, it's a carbonara sauce, pasta. They made homemade bread.
Oh, yes.
Homemade bread, right? That came out really good. If I tried to make bread, that shit ain't coming out. It's going to come out like a rock. That was fantastic. The salad was crazy. And then we also had like blueberry lemon cookies that were like homemade from scratch. Bro. Crazy. Absolutely delicious.
It was really good.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Mike, our other judge, also another standard MVP. This dude knows the rules like the back of his hand. There's a couple times where all the judges would get in an argument because they'd be like very much. Sometimes I was right. Sometimes he was right. Sometimes Steven was right. That's the thing in Kill Team. You never know. That there was definitely some weird ones that we had to contend with. Definitely interesting, but there was also a lot of just like super unclear rules because we had 2 brand new teams, brand new crit ops, which made the event more exciting in my opinion. But sometimes there's going to be misplays here and there, and it is what it is. Mike was an absolute legend. It was really funny. He brought us breakfast, and he just like. He's like, "Nah, Dakotah, you're wrong." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. Shut up, Mike." And then they'd both overrule me. They both ruled the same way, and it turns out they'd be right, or they'd hit me up afterwards and be like, "Oh, what do you think about this?" I was like, "Oh, wow, none of us thought of this one," which is an interesting one for people to think of. It's the Macrosite Warriors. Are you allowed to use the Macrosite Warrior ploy, right? If there's no Macrosite Warriors in play. If they're all like killed on turning point 2, can you do them on turning point 3? I don't know. doesn't say you can. It also doesn't say you can't. So, there's that. We also had Robert, who was our narrative judge, and Robert was so amazing because I called him and I was like, yo, you want to be a judge again? He was like, yeah. I was like, can you be a judge for narrative? He's like, sure, no problem. I was like, we're going to dress you up. And he was like, okay. So we made a costume for him. I made his mask. Saya made everything else. And we turned him into an Inquisitor. And he was running around like he was the leader of the Sentinels. And the Sentinels were he was like, yo, if you guys don't start scoring points, I'm going to decapitate you with this, with this chainsword. But he was amazing because whenever we had a buy, sometimes we'd have a buy because not everyone would show up. Sometimes for some reason or another, somebody wouldn't show up around 1 or they'd leave early or something like that. So sometimes we had a buy every now and then. And he would sit down and play the enemies against the person, against the adversary ops, which was what this campaign's based off of, which is just like a bunch of Tyranids on the tables too. It's 2 enemy teams and Tyranids. And so he would really make the people work for it and play against them and have a great time. And then he also answered a bunch of questions. Him and Saya did all the narrative meetings, and they did an amazing job, just overall. We had Troy, and Troy was our timekeeper. Troy is learning the rules still, so I didn't want him doing a lot of calls, but I put him in charge of the time. And he kept to that time and made sure everyone was pushing to the time. And he did an amazing job. And without him, he wasn't there the last round. No one got last time calls because I forgot he wasn't there, And all of a sudden it was like near the end of the round. And I was like, oh, damn it. Forgot Troy left. But he was really big help. And yeah, he was amazing. Troy, I've known him since high school. Me and him go way back, and he's just an amazing guy. So if anyone got to say hi to him, he's my homie. And then we have Marty and Saya. So Marty, he's going to be streaming the World Championships of Warhammer with Giacomo. If you guys like Marty's voice, he's going to be there. He's going to be talking. It's going to be awesome. You
Yeah,
gotta listen.
Marty is literally like, I can't say his praises enough. Like, see, before I thought I was like the guy who knew stuff. Then I realized my role is like in the rap song. I'm like, yeah, I'm the hype man. Marty has the information down though, Like that's what makes him so good. Like I will scream and yell, and he will tell me why I should be screaming and yelling because it's that good of a move or something,
Mm-hmm.
So like Marty's an amazing addition to the team.
He just turns to you, Giacomo. This is when you cheer. Oh yeah,
yeah, and I yell like real loud. It's just a good time,
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things. I've seen a couple of streams. You guys did a great job. Marty's also super knowledgeable. So sometimes when you see something, on stream, you guys can call a judge and then I can come over and correct it, and he's just, he's really knowledgeable and he's a great commentator. Yeah. So super, super glad and lucky to have Marty a part of the team. And then Saya, she ran the store, she ran the narrative, she set up everything. She's always our rock, she essentially financed the whole thing, so made LVO happen. So, it's been, she's been, our rock's solid bed foundation of the entire thing, so
yeah, she keeps us grounded, dude.
She does. And she brings that woman flair. If we didn't have a woman flair, dude, it would just be like a garage sale. You know what I mean?
Just like shit thrown everywhere.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think the guys would mind, but like dudes would just be like, oh yeah, what's in this box? Right. Okay.
Oh shit. How much is this?
Yeah.
We'll be looking at our phones. It's this much. And oh yeah. And then here's like exchange of money.
Yeah. And then Saya's like, yeah, but when you do stuff nice, you get everyone to come over.
And she was right. Like she always is. She was right.
She's always right, Giacomo.
Always
don't you forget.
I'm never
always. Always. Yeah. So, it was cool. There's a lot of, our judges were amazing. Mike and Steven, they knew the rules really well. Sure, we all got role rules wrong every now and then. Me, Mike, and Steven, some of us would get something wrong here and there. It's just a nature of being a judge. But we would definitely go back and correct those tables when we had a chance, or when one of us would figure out we ruled something wrong or something like that. Just like, no judge is perfect. And when God, how many games did we have played? Hold on. Let me pull up a calculator.
Let's see, so 9 games total, not counting the narrative.
So we had 9 rounds times 116 players, right? So we had 1,044 games played, right? Now, maybe a few less, because maybe a couple drops here and there, right? Obviously not as many games played as January times, what is it? 9 rounds. We had 1,500 games played in January.
Wow.
Still 1,000 games played in 3 days for just the stats alone for Kill Team is a huge accomplishment. And that's like, I guess if you cut that in half, that's how many games were actually being played. So instead of 1,000, we would say like 500 games, right? Just like, because there's only one game going on between 2 people. But still, like, that's still 500 games in 3 days for 3 TOs, while it's definitely not undoable. I definitely felt this time like I was being pulled in so many different directions. For me, this was by far the hardest LVO I've done.
Yeah, dude, you were going extra time.
Yeah, it was crazy because like for instance, like let's take a step down memory lane real quick, everyone. You're in Squad Games podcast, so get used to it if this is the first time you're here. The first time we ran this was in 2022, right? It was our very first LVO. We had 89 players. We had 1 TO, which was me. We had Giacomo and we had Saya, right, as a store person. Now, that was such a huge accomplishment for us because we had a giant flood in the house. We had me and Saya weren't even living in my house, in my parents' house. We were living in a hotel, so I had to commute to my house because of the flood, right? And then I had to manufacture from scratch like 40 something tables of just open terrain. And it was crazy. And then within a year, the giant laser that I bought, right? Because I got injured. And I spent a large chunk of my injury money on a $10,000 laser. And so that I could make LVO happen, right? And then we crushed that LVO. We did a great job. There's a little bit of drama at the end of it, I don't think any of those players are playing in Kill Team anymore. So talk about it a little bit more freely. There's some drama in the last few rounds at that LVO. And it was interesting because it was kind of like one of our first kind of failures as a TOing group was just like learning. Like you only get to be good by failing and learning from your failures, right? So there was some drama between 2 players that was kind of hard to squash, that happened at that event. And then the next year, the next LVO, I really made it an effort to have nothing happen. Right. And guess what? Nothing happened. I think we had like 128 players or 122 players or something like that. The world's largest event again, and for Kill Team in 2023. Oh gosh, maybe we did our first one in 2023, Giacomo. I think it was 2023.
So,
and then 2024, nothing happened. It was absolutely perfect. Everyone had a great time from what I know of. I know that there's a couple like drama things that happen behind the scenes between players who ended up not liking each other because of other things, but that's besides the point. That's going to happen. You're playing with so many different people. People are going to bump into each other.
You can't love everybody,
They're not going to like.
As much as I'd love that to happen, it's just not a reality.
Yeah, sometimes people aren't going to like each other. there was still a couple of things that we could have done better, so we had to manufacture a bunch of terrain for that. And we borrowed a bunch from the Bats. Bats came through for us really heavily which is the Bay Area tournament squad. They brought a bunch of terrain out, like Sheldon and stuff. And then in January, we had to borrow a bunch of Sheldon's terrain again. Sheldon, for anyone that doesn't know, he passed the torch to us. He used to run the Las Vegas Open. Sheldon's an amazing person. People might know him in the Kill Team community, known as Kill Team Stream. And I learned a lot of good practices from Sheldon. In 2024, even though it was our largest event, I didn't feel like it was as hard as this event. And I'll explain why. So this time we were doing the stream. We kind of had a big store going. We had, and I just kind of focused on rules, right? With our narrative was kind of going, but our narrative wasn't as planned or thought out as the year before. And while it was awesome, and we had to manufacture like 200 Necrons for the event, it wasn't like anything crazy. But this time for this event, which that one was 169, which is still the largest event on Earth thus far of Kill Team. This event was difficult because I felt like I was being pulled at the seams because I wanted narrative. I worked so hard on this narrative campaign. Me and Saya, like everyone in our community worked on this thing. And I just really desperately, I was like, yo, if this doesn't work, like, I'm just not going to do narrative anymore because I put my heart and soul into it. So I was really invested into narrative to make sure it would work. And the first day I was kind of like babysitting it just to make sure. And then they got it and I didn't have to worry about it. And then I didn't have Giacomo for Hobby Track because we tried something different in Hobby Track this time. I tried to do kind of what Games Workshop does. And they go around on round one and they go through and they give everyone paint scores and then you give out your hobby showcase. Unfortunately, that didn't work for me. It took me the entire day, all 3 rounds, to go around and track down every single person, look at their team, give them a score, and then start inviting people to the hobby showcase. Giacomo, from now on, we're going to have to do a hobby like we've done in the past, which is in the morning time. We do this and we just give the hobby showcase stuff out then and early in the morning.
Right. So we can have them set up ahead of time.
Like I really needed you and like 2 other people to go through all on round 1. And then we would all touch different people and then we'd all choose, you know what I mean? Like the showcase on like a Google spreadsheet to make this thing work. It just did not function. I just couldn't do it. It was way too hard. So pretty much all of day 1, I was checking on the stream, checking on the store, checking on narrative, checking on the judges for Kill Team, for the competitive, and doing all the hobby stuff and all the hobby judging purely by myself. Very difficult. Early on day 2, I didn't get a lot of sleep. Oh, dude, we should talk about some of those nighttime activities too.
We'll do that, man.
We'll do those. Those
we'll
are
do those in a
crazy.
second.
Those are crazy. It'll get Vegas-y for everyone. If you don't like hearing about boobs, you should tune out. So day 2 for me, and Giacomo, you can go over your time at LVO. Day 2, I didn't have to do the hobby judging, which was really nice, and I could just focus a lot more on rules. But I was still being pulled to the stream table more often. I was hyper worried about the stream table, and making sure players are treating each other nicely there, and then also making sure everyone was treating each other nicely in the narrative. You know, we had a lot of great people come out for the narrative, and I was really making sure that they were having a good time. And then the same thing with competitive. You know, I think if anyone knows us, we really care about the player experience. You know,
it's like one of our top priorities. For real.
It is. Like, while I care about your player experience, I want you to come back more than anything else. And I think that it's like super and super important. Like even if you don't enjoy the event, because maybe you got like curb stomped, if you think that you like you enjoyed it enough to be like, wow, I shouldn't have taken far stalkers, next year I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring a more competitive team. Or, hey, I had a great time playing Crute. I enjoyed getting stomped every game. I'm going to come back and next time I'm going to bring Vet Guard and get stomped every time again too, That's me, everyone. So like, it's really important that the judges understood that. And also like, I was definitely straying at dude, I felt like I was fraying out sometimes, like it's crazy. Cause once you get there, there's no more planning. There's no more building. There's no more nothing. You just have to let the event run and you have to hope you did enough before the event happens, like I can't explain how much stuff there is to do before an event of this size, before I go on to Sunday, why don't you give us your rundown?
So let's start with Thursday. So we had the social. That was the first day we walked, which wasn't bad, but I was carrying a bunch of stuff on my back, which I would later leave at the venue. So I was a little sweaty. And first day jitters are always like, first, you're a little nervous running the stream the first day, just to make sure it doesn't explode or something. And then you make it, so it's not so bad. And then Thursday, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're hungry. Got to get to the hotel. It's just a feeling of tiredness the whole time. But then after that, it gets really easy. Friday was a lot more chill. I think at that point, that's when Troy was in town, right? I think that's when he came in. He was on Friday.
He came in, I think, Thursday night.
Thursday night. Okay, that's what it was. Yes, that's right. Because Thursday night, which we'll have a different story for that in a second. It was good. Like overall, each day was pretty easy. The last day was the toughest just because it was also the last day of setup. And it's also a really nice day because there was a bunch of awards that other people in our community won outside of our awards. Yeah, which is cool. I was like seeing them.
Army Painter, right?
Army Painter awards, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's a good time. That was my experience mostly. Like, just the stress, telling people at the stream, like, oh, the same speech you've given them, which is, you're representing the competitive side of Kill Team, consider being good to your opponent and consider the stream, the audience watching you guys. You're putting this out for them, not just yourselves. And everyone seemed to reciprocate it really well. Everyone was very kind on the interviews, which is nice. I always love that because there's also a little bit of stress when you interview people. You never know what they're going to say, right?
Yeah.
But everyone is generally pretty cool. So, I was mostly fine. I'm
not gonna lie, I'm way meaner when when I'm telling the stream players, like I'm like, hey, you're representing the Kill Team community. I will not tolerate disrespect between you two. Do you understand? Like, I'm just like, yo, dude, like, because the thing is like, this is our product, Kill Team is what I made my business. I care about it so much, like this is so important. And these people are representing not only my brand, but also they're representing the brand of Kill Team, which I desperately want to continue to grow, so I'm like, yo, like, don't fuck around or you will find out.
Seriously. But again, most players are very receptive. They're good.
100%. Everyone was super sweet. And the thing was, I'll talk about the sportsmanship and how amazing it was at LVO this year. Cause it really starts from us, right? It really starts from the team and all being aligned on the same page. For any TOs out there that's thinking about running, or if you're thinking about running events, we have a lot of podcast episodes on how to run events and, kind of getting started and stuff like that. But, my Sunday was probably my easiest day because I just got to focus on rules. The last round got a little chaotic because we had to determine final awards, do a bunch of awards, kind of sit down and do stuff. We'll kind of go through our nightly activities at the NG because those are probably the funnest things to talk about.
They are.
Yeah, so that was, and then we got to do the awards ceremony at the end, which was a lot of fun. I know that people say that our award ceremonies can be long, but if you could imagine, how much work and effort it goes into this, it's kind of good that that's kind of our moment to celebrate too. Like we don't get to play, like so it's kind of like our cherry on top. So sometimes it's nice to drag it out a little bit. Sorry, um, but I'll go over some of the awards here. Let me grab these. Where did we put these on, G? Was it on?
Who knows? I think we had it in our group chat, the 2 people chat.
Which one?
The one with you, Sai, and I.
I think it's in a Google Docs, I think. Nope, not there. Let me go to Google Docs real quick.
Oh, good. I got the time code, so I know where to cut.
Perfect. All right. So let me go over some of the awards, right? Best in show, best overall hobby for the entire event was Aiden McGeeth, also known as Cartoon Lime in our Discord. He brought the most miraculous thing I have seen in a long time. So for people that don't know, at Games Workshop events, they have these trophy boxes that you get these metal trophies in, and they're like big wooden trophy things, like boxes. And he built his entire display in his one that he won from from January, right? And he won, I think, a second place, and he built this entire thing in there, and it was amazing. It was absolutely flawless. He really went to town on the blending and the converging, and they were like Fire Slayers, right, Giacomo?
Yep, they were Fire Slayer models.
Yeah, converted into Jaegers. You couldn't see the mold lines. You couldn't see anything. Painting was on point. He had these beautiful crystals. Absolutely glorious paint job. He did the best in our opinion. We had a bunch of people judge this year because sometimes, like, me and Giacomo like specific styles. We like certain things. So at some of these other events, we like to have other people also judge. So it could vary stuff, right? So so we had Justin and Christina, since they're part of the staff, they helped judge. We had Troy help judge. And then we had to have a tiebreaker. And for no one would know this, but Katie, my wife's sister, is also a very good, talented canvas artist. So she came in and she would break a tie. She'd be like, nope, that's the best. And we'd be like, okay. Yeah, but Aiden won pretty much hands down. So he was a great. We also had best display was Justin Ellis's ambush. So he had this great Raveners team killing a bunch of deathcore. And it was really good. All the shading was great. He played with like gloss textures and matte textures. He had explosions. He did a great job. He won something from Army Painter too, right?
Yeah, best small display.
Best small display for Army Painter as well. Yeah, he did a great job. Absolutely glorious. Alex Popov won best painted. For anyone that has never seen his kill team, he has oh gosh, what's it called? He has these Aquilon models that are all non-metallic metal.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very impressive to see 11 models, all custom converted, completely rendered out in non-metallic metal, and done very, very well. I mean, it took him like 8 months just to paint the damn team, It's a very good team. Best single model was Doc Williams from Arizona. He had an amazing Sanctifier model.
That's correct.
Yeah, that was by far Giacomo's favorite.
Yep.
And then we had Our judge's favorite, which was Ian, he had these tunnel snakes. Let me tell you about these conversion, everyone. No one's going to see any of these things. So this is just audio form. He modified a bunch of Medusas from, the fuck is it called? Medusas from AOS, and turned them into tunnel snakes. And then the entire base was all like little gold coins. And then he had an entire like D&D party turned to stone, one of which was Frodo. Very great, very cool, very creative. We all thoroughly enjoyed it. Best conversion was Justin Marcus. Justin had another AOS conversion. Sometimes AOS conversions do not land, everyone. Sometimes you could have a great thought process and then you don't execute it enough. All these people crushed it. So he had these like marauder dudes that he converted into goremongers, and they were just perfect. They were really great, really great. And then our most creative award went to Richard Desperado. Now, Richard, he had the craziest display I think anyone's ever seen. It was his Rekka crew that had this little tiny TV, and stuff was like breaking out of the TV, and they came out of the TV, and it was all built onto this VCR, like an old VCR thing. And it was like on fire. It was crazy. It was lit, literally.
Yeah, I guess it was lit.
Yeah. For Forged Brush, we had Alex Squires, who won conversion. Now, so for anyone that doesn't know, the Forged Brush is an additional painting competition that you have to pay to enter. So LVO, all of our events, we all have our standard hobby entries and standard awards. The Forged Brush is like the next prestige limit, where you get these bigger awards. You get Highlander hobby brush sets and our Highlander hobbies. What are these called? G, like they're like paint trays.
Yes, to hold the little paints.
Mm-hmm. So he won with his. So he converted all of the Battleclade models from skink models from GW, and he turned them all into Battleclade models. They were crazy, absolutely glorious, wonderful conversions, very creative. Robert Baumkamp also won best single model. He had a conversion for a Phobos team. He converted a Phobos librarian for his Phobos team, and the camo pattern on it was amazing. The little plants on it, it was just an amazing single model.
Yeah,
so he won that one.
That was a great looking model.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. Justin Marcus won best kill team. He won with the same team that he was playing with, the Goremongers. Absolutely glorious team. Best display was Mike Eglin. He brought this crazy over the top display of his Sisters of Battle, like climbing. Climbing. They were all Aquilons, but I think they were like sisters Aquilons, and they were like climbing the staircase. And then he has this like big stone plinth, and then he had this giant plane coming in from over the top. Absolutely glorious. And then the best overall for the whole thing, right, was Robert Baumkamp. We just couldn't overlook how wonderful his single model was, even though there's other people that brought displays and all that kind of stuff. The model was just perfect, absolutely glorious. So competitively, James Robinson, he got 7th place with Chaos Colts with a wonderfully painted team. He won best overall. And then I think first place was John Reese. Can you roll a crit? He ran the gauntlet. He played some of the best competitors at LVO, and he was able to dominate and beat everyone. He rightfully deserved to win the event. And he absolutely crushed it. He played pretty much flawlessly. I was doing node checks on every single Canoptic player throughout the entire event. I'd walk around and take my little 6-inch gauge and make sure all the nodes were placed correctly and within 6, and he did an amazing job. So LVO was a smash hit. It was pretty cool, pretty crazy. You know, we had a lot of fun stuff that we'd like to celebrate. Now, let's get to the spicy shit, G. The nighttime activities.
Yeah. Now, our nighttime activities aren't nearly as crazy as you might be thinking. It's the stuff around it that's the crazy.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Vegas. It's just Vegas around it. So Thursday night, what did you do Thursday night, G?
I hung out with you and Troy.
Yeah. Okay. So G didn't do it. So we spent all day packing and all that kind of stuff. He went back to the hotel. Meanwhile, I did that, and then I went to this speakeasy with karaoke. For people that don't know, I despise karaoke.
He does not like live.
I despise it. If I want to listen to a singer, I want to listen to them sing in their beautiful, glorious voice. You know? I'm not going to say anything negative about the people singing, but I had to leave. Okay. I had to. I could not stay. It was karaoke is not my thing. You know? And when karaoke is happening, typically you can't hear anyone else in the bar. And I was starving because I hadn't eaten. So I was like, yo, I paid an Uber to get here. Now I have to pay an Uber to get all the way back. I was like, fuck that. I'm walking the streets of Las Vegas at night. Let's go. Walked around a bunch of crazy people, I just kept walking, kept my head down, power walked, I think it was like 1.5 miles all the way back to the hotel. Got to the hotel. Turns out everyone already ate except for Troy and G. Or you guys ate Chick-fil-A, right?
No, that was the next night.
Okay. So I hit you guys up and I was like, yo, let's get some food. We're going to go to Dirty Dogs on Fremont. If anyone knows what Fremont is, it is Old Town Las Vegas. I will explain it as such. Actually, G, you explain it and then I'll explain it. Just like.
So it's Old Vegas. That's the fastest way to explain it. It's literally like you're walking through this huge tunnel where the day and nighttime don't exist. There's just light. And you aren't quite sure whether it's artificial or real. There's probably a lot of accidents because of where the streets are. But at the same time, there's like, it's so overstimulating because there's never a second where there isn't someone trying to catch your attention in some capacity.
There's like the crosswalk is a half a block wide.
Yeah.
Like the cars have to stop at a red light and let a half a block of crosswalk go. And then the green light goes. And then, of course, there's people drunk on Fremont and they probably walk into the street. And there's a couple people that would get hit, right? I think we saw Troy, when he was coming here, actually sat in like 30 minutes of traffic because somebody got hit right on Fremont.
Yep.
Doing that exact thing. Now, I will explain this. Fremont Street is late at night is Slanesh incarnate. It is nothing but the excess of light, the excess of noise, the excess of sexual bodies walking around in there. So they have busker zones, right? So we were walking around and there was nothing but like burlesque girls, Chippendale dancers, there's like these scary nuns with their boobs out. That one was the most shocking.
For Troy. Like, dude, that was so funny.
Dude, I was like walking with Troy and you and like Troy's religious, right? So it was pretty fun walking with him. I thoroughly enjoyed it. His reactions.
Remember the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Keep my eyes focused forward.
But like we walked to Dirty Dogs. We saw a couple like burlesque dancers and stuff like that, and just like boobs and butts just hanging out in these burlesque zones. Like they're like black tape marks circles or something. I'm sure you have to get some kind of permits for it. Just like, and it was just like, it's not like people like dolled up like in other areas of Vegas. It's just like, yo, these people are just here to fucking party. You know, we were just there to eat, right? So we go to Dirty Dogs. We eat. Food was great. The fried Oreos were to die for. And we left, right? And on our way back, there's these maids, and it was so shocking. They're just burned into my mind. It was like seeing like the Dirge Mall from like in real life, like if a mandrake came out of the shadows and was like, I'm gonna fucking burn you alive through your soul. You're just like, that memory is just stuck with you, I don't know how to explain it. So I went back, and the girls were sleeping because it was like midnight by the time I got back. Went to sleep. Next night, I stayed really late because I had to watch the store. Talked to Tyler Russo for quite some time. Awesome content creator, by the way. Walked back, and then I walked. It was really late. Me, Saya, and Katie went out, and I was telling them that we went to Dirty Dogs again. And I was telling them all about like these women, like there's just boobs and butts everywhere. Right. And none of them saw anything because we actually went like too early, and we got back by like 10:30. Gee, what did you do on Friday? It was like the food was good. Nothing else happened.
On Friday, I did like literally nothing. I went home with Robert, and then we got,
I think everyone was asleep.
Yeah, then we went to bed, and it was Chick-fil-A. If you've had Chick-fil-A, it's Chick-fil-A.
It was expensive out Las Vegas.
It was just as expensive as it is out here. So it was like probably the most affordable meal that we had this weekend.
There you go. There you go.
It was fun. They couldn't pronounce my name, which is always a fun thing. I do enjoy it. It's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
So Saturday, after everyone left, me, Giacomo, and the team, we all sat down. We all looked at all the showcase models. We did a lot of judging for the showcase models. And then, so we did a bunch of paint judging. And then Christina and Justin drove me and Giacomo to an escape room, right? And then my wife was going to be late, and she was like, yo, if we're late, we can't do the escape room. And I was like, I really want to do this. I was like, don't worry, I got this. So I took off my shirt, and all I had on underneath was a wife beater. And I became Ivan Ivanov, which is my Russian/Ukrainian person that I like to play on occasion. I find it very entertaining. He has a whole backstory. He's been building for the past couple of years since I've learned some Russian or Ukrainian from friends. And so the entire time that we were in there, I was just Ivan Ivanov. And I stalled long enough for them to get there, but I wasn't going to drop the bit because that would have been awkward.
Right. You can't
right? I commit to the bit. So I was Ivan Ivanov for like an hour and a half, I made a lot of people laugh. Katie, my wife's sister, wanted to murder me by the end of it. But we passed the escape room, and then we went and ate at Yard House.
Yes, that's right.
Yard House was really good, but the server annoyed the holy hell out of me. He just wouldn't shut up about, hey, you can buy these beer steins. By the way, Giacomo, we have your beer stein.
I figured it was there too with my other water bottle.
Yeah, we have your beer stein here. So like he just wouldn't shut up about these beer steins. He's like, yeah, if you're local, you could just come back and you just fill it up for $5 and you just have to buy these fries. And by the way, I don't drink, right? So I'm like, yo, like you're preaching to the wrong choir, and he's just like, and we don't live here, and he just wouldn't shut up about it. And it infuriated me. I'm not gonna lie. It was just one of those random things that just like, you're like, why does this make me angry? I don't know, but it did. Then we all went back, oh dude, Nikki, we can't forget to talk about Nikki.
Oh Giacomo. My God, Nikki in the car.
Nikki, bro. This one was wild. This is wild. So we had the best Uber driver of my entire life. Her name was Nikki. And Nikki was telling us all about, what's his name, G?
Well, we had Chris Brown and how she was like a huge fan of Chris Brown.
Yeah, she's a huge fan of Chris Brown. And then my wife's sister was like, didn't he like Chris Brown beat like Rihanna? And she was like, that bitch deserved it.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, what the hell?
She was like, do you know what she did? He did, or what?
Yeah, like it was
what she did in order to deserve it. She grabbed his dick and she bit him, and she spit at him, and then took his keys out of his Lamborghini and threw it at him in the car. She's like, that bitch got it coming. And I was like, whoa, okay. Right. She was awesome though. She was a real one. And it was really interesting, like her past and learning about all of her past and stuff, and how she had a felony for beating a woman. And stabbing her with a heel and breaking a lamp over her head.
Dude, I know. It was the whole thing. Like, she was dropping some casual curse words in the car. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
All because I said, oh, that's a Nicki Minaj, Cardi B song. I know that song.
Yeah. And she was like, I fucking hate Nicki Minaj, you know? Can't believe that girl shares my name.
Yeah, dude.
Cardi B is the real one. And I was like, really? And then she was like going on about it. And I was like, yeah, I feel the same way about MGK, you know? And she was like, yeah, Eminem's my boy. And like, it was crazy. It was just crazy. We had the coolest conversation. But she was also like her main point, right? Is like, she had a felony from when she was like 19 years old because somebody said something really derogatory about her baby, right? And so she beat the holy living fuck out of him, you know? And she went to jail for it, served her time, and then she learned if she's going to beat somebody up, don't grab a weapon, just use your hands. That was what she learned. But the coolest thing about Nicki, right, is that she was just saying like, she's not that same person, right? So we shouldn't judge Chris Brown in the same way because he's not the same person. Like, we have to be able to forgive people. Otherwise, like, it's just going to continue to spawn hate, you know, which was really interesting. It was a really cool conversation. And we were in the car for 35 minutes. So we all had a great chat. You know, everyone who listens to this podcast knows I like to talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things I cannot repeat in that vehicle, but it was a great time. What did you think of Nicki? I gave her a $10 tip, by the way.
I thought she made the ride way more fun, and like she was actually herself once we laid that out there. Like, professionalism out the window, but fun up in that car. It's a good time. I hope everyone has a cool experience with their Uber drivers. Yeah,
dude. I gave her a 5-star and gave her $10 tip, and my wife's sister was like, I hope you didn't tip her. And I was like, nah, dude, she was the best, you know?
Yeah, she was funny as hell, dude.
And I was just in the front seat. I was like, hell yeah, you know? She was cool. She was super cool. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, so that was Saturday. We got a great accumulation with that. And then Sunday, we decided to go to Fat Sal's on after we cleaned up everything, which took ages. But Justin and Christina helped us pack, which we're very thankful for. Yeah. And we went to Fat Sal's, which sucked.
Yeah, I was going to say, absolute mistake on our part. Oh my God.
We should have went back to Dirty Dogs, dude.
Absolutely.
Yep. Had diarrhea the next day. Don't matter. Dirty Dogs is dope.
It's so much better. Like, the sandwich was
lame. It wasn't good. It wasn't
even that good.
They ran out of milk, so they couldn't make a milkshake, which they were known for. Sucked balls. Really disliked it. But on our way back, it was really late. And guess what we saw? And the women, our Katie and Saya, also got to see. We weren't lying. There were a bunch of women and men running around in the burlesque areas, in the doing Fremont being Fremont, you know?
I mean, hey, another fun thing about Fremont, if you saw Mr. James Loomis out there, he was in his Joker costume, like one of the nights.
Was he?
Yeah, he was like, I was out there till like 2 a.m.
Holy shit.
Then he went to play a tournament. And for those who don't know who I'm describing, imagine like a 6 foot, what is he, 6'6"?
He's probably 6'6", 6'4".
He's a very tall man. He has like a long hair, and he put his Joker costume on with the makeup, and you know, if you don't know the man, you know that he's actually generally a nice guy.
Very nice.
He might seem very intimidating when you first see him. And so you just imagine that kind of guy out there in Fremont at 2 a.m. Smoking a cigarette.
Dude, that's like 100% normal, bro. Like, I saw like some crazy stuff. dude, like there was so much sound. Like there was like a literal live band, a live concert.
Oh yeah,
every block.
That's right.
You know, and it was just like people singing either really well or dog shit. You know, it was one or the other. Like the first night we walked down, like one of the concerts that we walked by, the guy was singing great the whole time. Right? I was like, oh, live music. This guy's doing a good job. Great. You know, cool. See, I don't hate on karaoke just because, you know. So then but then we walked down to like this rock band. And Giacomo was telling me earlier in the night, like you go to Vegas and that's where your career dies.
Yeah, you go to Vegas to to end your career. You're like, all right, it's over now.
These rock dudes, 100%. I didn't understand why there were so many people watching them. I had no idea.
They were a cover band.
They were awful.
Yeah, dude. The live sound for that guy. The first one we saw on Thursday night wasn't so bad. This one at the last day was pretty bad.
Dude, that same guy was playing at the where the good guy was playing on Sunday night, and he was bad again. And I'm like, yo, dude, like AC/DC is only going to get you so far. If you can't sing Thunderstruck, don't sing it, please. You know, but people didn't care. They're out there.
They're probably drunk as hell,
drunk, having fun. I'm not gonna rain on the parade. I'm just gonna grit my teeth and wish I had earplugs in and walk by. You know.
But we made it. Then the next day we finished packing up. The last of the seconds.
We finished packing up. We drove out to one of the hotels, parked the car, had a good lunch, had Katie go to the airport, and then we drove 5 hours to my house. And then I had to, undo all of the, I had to unpack everything because I can't leave PLA in my trailer in the California sun. So yeah, it would burn and melt. So I had to unpack the entire car, which took another few hours. Yeah, it was great times. If anyone doesn't know anything about running tournaments, if you're running a larger event, obviously if you're running like an 8-person event, you're like, cool, I have a box of terrain. You run a 112, 20-person event, there's a lot more than just that. So, and product and yada, yada, banners and whatever else. So then I had to undo the entire trailer, and then I had to repack all the trailer with stuff that could go in there. And then, dude, I still haven't even fully unpacked. Like whenever you go to some of these big events, for anyone who doesn't like moving, that is not the job for you. Because essentially you're moving half of your house to a place, and then you're moving it back, and then you have to unpack.
Yeah, and that happens, I think, most of the time. So I was like, did we get everything out? Nah.
Yeah, dude. It was crazy. It was a crazy time this year, man. Lots of great hobbyists. Objectively, I think it was better hobby this time around than it was last time around. And that's saying something,
Yeah. And I'm glad that each year gets better and better and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of these times we'll be recognized by some senpai, some big fishes and stuff.
I mean, we've had Artis Opus help us judge before, so
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, he wasn't here this year.
No, otherwise, the second time was a little harder.
Yeah. I think that's how it is for a lot of people. I think there's way more people coming this next year, including a bunch of repeats. Because now we have to wait 12 months.
Yeah, we do.
T-minus 11 months, Giacomo.
People are getting excited because they're like, I planned it for January, but it's not happening until October. So now they're really growing their hype.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to give another big shout out to some sportsmanship stuff that happened at LVO. So we had Zeke Heidenreich, right? I think I said it right. He placed 4th with Rekkas, and he earned the golden ticket, and he gave it to Zeke, who placed right below him, because they played in that last match and Zeke beat him. But Zeke scored one more point overall in the event than the other Zeke did, Zeke v. Zeke. And he ended up giving him the golden ticket instead because essentially they were playing for it. Also, Zeke was an amazing guy throughout the entire event. 100% like the pillar of sportsmanship, in my opinion. Super kind and even though he was firm as a top player, he still argued all of his cases very socially nice and acceptable. And I didn't really see him ever arguing with his opponents. Whenever I walked by, they always seemed like they're having a great time. Yeah, and then there's some other good sportsmanship things to call out. It was interesting, Giacomo. This is the very first event that I've had people that have like just straight misplayed rules, and they came over and told me. One player was playing Raveners, and he starting with these brand new tokens, which are made by Broken Token or whatever. But Broken Token doesn't give you the circles. They only give you like the long tunnel sections. So the guy started off the game with a tunnel section. And then on turning point 1, he put another tunnel section down, which is like essentially like he's in turning point 2 at that point. So at the end of turning point 3, starting turning point 4, he realized, I don't have any more. Oh my God, I've been playing with an extra tunnel this entire time. Right. So they called me over immediately and they're like, hey, I fucked up. I need to lose this game. I need to score 0. And I was like, nah, dude, chill out. Finish the game. You will lose because there's no point you can go back anymore. You will lose, but play the game, finish it out, and then just, we'll kind of go from there. So at the end of that game, because I'm a judge as reasonable, right? You told on yourself, obviously you didn't mean to do it. You had a great excuse. So essentially what happened was I listened to, he was like, okay, so the score was 14-19 or 14-9. And I was like, okay, so you're going to lose. So you're going to score 8 points, right? And then since you misplayed a rule, we're going to give you another -2, right? Because I didn't want to completely crush his tournament dreams either, right? But it's also important, both players get to play the game. And for me, I felt that was reasonable as a TO, especially when it was not intentional. There's another time in the event where this guy was playing Into the Dark all of day 1. And on day 2, the very first round, he started putting multiple guys on guard. And one guy was like, hey, you can only have one guy on guard, which is your marksman. He's like, oh, this guy's not my marksman. He's my plasma. Uh-oh. So they called me over because they're playing on Volcus. So I was like, okay, so get me at the end of the game. Just so you know, for each instance of a misplayed rule, it's usually a -2. Okay. And so at the end of the game, it was like 19 to 9, right? Or something like that, or 19 to 7. And I was like, yo, if I give this guy -4 points, it's going to give him like 3 points or something like that. It was like something really, really bad. So in the end, I only gave him, because he still lost the game. So in the end, I just gave him a -2 instead of a -4, even though typically he would have gotten a -4. To me, you told on yourself. And, just the level of sportsmanship at this event was just really top notch. You know what I mean? People were really holding themselves accountable. And that really comes to, kind of our speeches at the beginning and kind of what we've tried to build as a community, is like, this is so good to see from a couple of years ago, G?
Yeah, and I'm really proud of everybody for being such good sports and, living on that be kind to everybody philosophy, or as kind as you can, because, we get it. It's a game. There's times you get hot and,
Yeah.
But, if you can still stay under pressure, and I really appreciate that. Like, it makes the experience great for everybody,
Absolutely. Yeah, so it was just really cool to see so many people really grow, if that makes any sense. And really, like, we always, as a judging staff and as a staff in general, and as a volunteer group, I really tell all of our volunteers, we have to put the player's experience first, something that's very important. It's not necessarily something that I want, because this comes from D&D, like, you don't play D&D for the DM to like tell their story. You're playing a collaborative game. You want everyone to have fun at the table, right? So right. You do the same thing in event organization. You want everyone to have a great time. And it's really cool to see so many people do that as well, you know? And here's the thing. You're playing at a large event. Sometimes people are going to make mistakes. I've made mistakes at events before, you know? I'm sure a lot of people have, you know? And it's so awesome to see people like make mistakes and then own up to them, you know? And like we did a lot of active judging. There was other things that people did incorrectly and stuff like that too, but that's okay because that's what the judges are there for. You know, I don't think anybody there actively cheated, which is a great thing, you know? It was a really good event, with really good sportsmanship. And FLG gave us a bunch of big prizes this year too, which was something that we've never had before from Frontline Gaming. G, what did you think when I was announcing some of their awards? Because their awards were kind of massive.
It was cool, you know, like it's I think one of the first times I can really recall them doing something this big, which is
ever.
Ever. So this is a good direction for all the future stuff too.
Agreed. Sometimes we'd get nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like every single time we've ran this event, I think there was one year where they gave us one box of Army Painter and like 2 maps to give out. And so another time they gave us, I think at LVO in January, they gave us only 3 maps to give out. It was 3 maps and 4 plaques to give away, you know, and that's all we got. This year, Frontline Gaming gave out to best overall. They gave a $500 travel credit to the next Las Vegas Open. To first place, they gave $300 in store credit. In second place, they gave $200, and in first place, they gave $100. And with more people, the prize is only going to get bigger. You know, I could see easily if we break 250, all of those numbers double, or we get more prizes to give out to like best painted and a whole bunch of other stuff on top of all the prizes that we give out as a team. You know, because Squad Games gives out a lot of prizes too, and we have a lot of raffles in Vegas because they're allowed to be there. You know. And we also gave away some showcase things. It was really funny. So we had this Purity Seal raffle, where everyone got a Purity Seal when they got there. And then if they bought more Purity Seals, they could get more entries. And our Purity Seal raffle, we gave out a Death Watch team, or it was like 2 Death Watch teams. And we gave out a wonderfully painted Rekka team from Aiden. And I can't thank Aiden enough. He's one of the biggest, amazing people in the community. He's given us multiple fully painted teams just to give away, you know? And he's an amazing sport and an amazing hobbyist. I don't think I've ever heard anyone complain about him. He's absolutely glorious. And then I gave away my Raveners, right?
You did.
Which I have to repaint, and I plan on repainting those on stream and making a video about them. So if anyone wants to learn how I painted them, I'm going to be repainting them entirely. Probably afterwards though. But yeah, it was really funny because the same guy won both fully painted teams, and then he was like, "Hey, I can't take both," so he gave one of the teams back, and then we gave that to somebody else. So it was a wonderful time, and it was really cool walking around and seeing everyone wear a Squad Games Purity Seals and stuff like that. Pretty successful, pretty cool.
It was.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you thought was really cool about LVO?
I have some things I could say that I thought weren't cool about LVO.
Oh yeah, let me know.
I got one and one only that I can recall. Why was laser tag done at 5?
Dude, that sucks so much.
Yeah, because a lot of people were like, well, our games don't end till like 4:30 or like even 6. Like, we're not going to get to do this. And I just thought like,
every single game system we couldn't do. I couldn't go do laser tag. I couldn't do it because like none of the game systems were done by 5. It was crazy. They'd open at like 9 or 10 and then be done. And it's like, okay, no one's going to laser tag. Why is it here? And it was Kill Team laser tag. Come on.
You know, it would have been awesome.
It would have been
next time, you know, and maybe that's one thing. Maybe you start the laser tag later in the day.
I'll tell the people that need to know. hopefully. What? Any other things, G?
No, I think that was pretty good.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think I really have any negative things outside of how draining it was. Like, for anyone that doesn't know, I borrow. So I'm like the Energizer Bunny while I'm at events. Like, I never stop. I go, 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 go. But I borrow a lot of my energy from like once I get home and I'm able to relax, then I'm like extra drained. You know, I don't know if anyone else has that, but a lot of people like they only have so much battery. But for me, like I'll have unlimited battery for as long as I need it. But then once I don't need it, I'm going to sleep for like 18, 20 hours. Or I can't do that because I have a son. He wakes me up. But I would like to.
It would be nice.
It would be. It would be. G, do you have any shout outs at the end of this episode? Or do you want to talk about anything else before we dip out of here?
Let's see. Anything before we dip out? No, I think I pretty much covered everything. So I guess we'll start with some shout outs.
Okay.
Let's do some shouty shouts. If you want to join the conversation, you can do so by joining the Discord, which is the Squad Games Discord, or by just checking out other videos. That helps too. You can join the conversation in that fun way. If you're watching other episodes on YouTube, or if you know that we have a YouTube channel, you can also check it out there. We have battle reports on there. We have painting tutorials, or coming up soon in the future. And of course, we have the Hobby Highlander. We have some fun shorts you can always view. We always enjoy that. You can follow us on Twitch to catch our Twitch streams when we do them. You're going to definitely want to catch that one for Atlanta. And, we got a Patreon as well. So if you want to give us a little bit extra support there, we always appreciate that. But if not, just sharing this episode is always a good thing. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, consider giving us your Amazon Prime, on Twitch, if you have one, Yeah, shout out to our patrons, shout out to Alex Popov. Can't forget that guy. Shout out to Saya. Shout out to our LVO staff. Once again, going from our very first LVO where we had no one helping to our second LVO where we had no one helping, other than we had one other guy, right? Elliot, and Elliot used to be our time master, our timekeeper for 2 years. He was a huge help. But and then last year we kind of had, I think we had Katie and we had Sheldon and we had Marty, which was what, LVO 2025 in January, and then we had, Mike, and I think that's it, right? And we had Troy the year before. Oh, we had more people year 2, but I try to block year 2 out because we had a staff member that I really did not enjoy. So I try to be more selective when I choose them now, because here's the thing. I don't know if anyone knows this. I don't get along with everyone.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think people can.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of an alpha A personality sometimes, especially when, and sometimes I'll butt heads with other people, so sometimes, it is what it is. But I know that about myself, so I'm socially aware of that. Let's give a shout out to John Reese for winning the Las Vegas Open from Candy Roll Crit. He has an amazing YouTube. You guys should go over and check it out. He is he's an awesome, not only a very nice person, right? He's a very kind individual, but he's also very good at the game, right? And he's very intelligent with the game. So make sure you go out and give him a sub, check out his Patreon. He's a great guy. Yeah, give a shout out to my wife. She's awesome. I'm going to give a shout out to our Highlander Hobbies brushes. I've been painting with them pretty much nonstop. I had 2 sets, and they've lasted me 3 or 4 teams now. Through some of these things, they're getting me through these Blades of Cain right now, and then I intend on using them for the Raveners once again. In fact, we have 2 Raveners teams to paint and Blades of Cain. G, before we go, what are your next hobby projects you're looking at doing?
I have a couple Aspect Warrior, the leaders for them to do. and I want to work on Hand of the Archon just because I have the box there and I feel like I should do it. It's been sitting there for a bit. I think it'd be fun. So those are a couple projects I have going on.
Cool.
How about you?
Just Blades of Cain, and I really want to work on these 2 Ravener teams, and I really want to paint a Batman model. You know, like I have a bunch of Knight models. They're called, I think they're called Knights or something. Knight something from Spain. They're official DC Batman models. I've had them forever. I really would like to paint one. So, you know, and then we got a couple other secret battle reports that we're going to be working on. I say they're secret because we are, they're going to be a higher end budget. So when we're going to kind of do like extra camera angles and other little things and do more cuts and a little bit more flare like type. And we'll see how those kind of videos do on YouTube as well. A lot more editing and stuff. Giacomo's going to have fun doing that.
I will, actually. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. So it should be good. Thank you guys. And thank you, the listeners, for listening. Thank you for getting this far. Gee, what should they say on our Discord since this isn't on YouTube?
On our Discord. Let's see.
Should they tell us their favorite moments of LVO, or why they didn't come, or why they plan on coming to the next one? No, they don't. Somebody's going to be like, well, I'm from Sweden. Well, we had somebody from the Netherlands come out, okay, and play a narrative. You have no excuse, Sweden.
Besides
Swedenese.
Of
course, it was just one guy from the Netherlands.
It was just one guy, though. So, you know, I understand most people can't make it. I would say tell them if they plan on coming to the next LVO, or what was their favorite experience at LVO, whether it was this one or in January. Yeah, tell us your guys' next hobby, what you guys are going to be doing for the next hobby one, for your next hobby thing. And I'd like to start seeing pictures, pop up so we can keep looking at the hobby stuff. So, but yeah, G, it's getting late. I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna head out, brother. All right, my guy. Well, it's good talking to you, like it always is, and we'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, love you, G, and love you guys. Thanks for guys and gals for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah. See ya.
The Squad Games Podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at squadgames.net or check out our YouTube channel at Squad Games Entertainment.